Hi, I'm Scot Mentzer with Orchard Hill Mortgage, and this is your weekly mortgage update. All right, let's take a look at last week's mortgage rate recap. So rates did get slightly worse last week, and a couple of things that affected rates last week. One was the CPI inflation data report and the Fed meeting. Though the Fed meeting probably didn't affect rates much, they decided not to raise rates or their rate in June. But markets are expecting the Fed to raise the rate again in July. So they did a pause, but probably will be an increase in July. And then the CPI inflation data report came out. And that report, when you look at the core numbers, which exclude volatile food and energy prices, is not really showing that inflation is slowing that much. So even though the headlines are kind of saying it's at the lowest rate in 2 years, we still have inflation above 2%. And remember, the Fed is looking to hold inflation at 2%. Okay, so what can we expect from rates this week? Rates could worsen. Remember, this was a shortened week due to the holiday on Monday. We are going to have a lot of housing data, but not much else in the way of economic data. The biggest thing on the horizon that could influence rates would be Fed members making comments this week after their meeting last week. So that could most likely see rates worsen a bit with not much in the way of improvement. So unfortunately, rates could climb a little bit higher this week. All right, so what's affecting rates this week? Two things: economic data and Fed speakers. Economic data, there is the housing data, but that might not affect mortgage rates that much. We do have Thursday's jobless claims coming out, so that's something we should watch out for. As the Fed speakers will be having comments since their Fed meeting last week, and Fed Chair Powell is going to be testifying before Congress this week. That those items could cause rates to move up or down just a bit. So just a few items this week that could influence rates. That's all I have for this week. I'm Scot Mentzer with Orchard Hill Mortgage. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Weekly Mortgage Update. Hopefully, I'll see you again next week.